You decide to have a rest, and for that you go and turn on a film. In your free time, you don't forget about work for a second, and on weekends you stay at home all day and lie on your phone. Sound familiar? But that's not relaxation, you're just making yourself even more tired and risking your health. If you get frequent headaches or extreme sleepiness, or maybe a feeling of complete emptiness inside, it's like you have no energy left at all, then you're not going to be successful. So today I'm going to fix that, bring back and even increase your progress. So listen to how to get back on track. First, why do you feel wrecked? If you know the cause of the illness, it is easier to choose medication. In general, there are three interrelated types of fatigue in humans. Let's deal with the first level, physical, and then I'll tell you how to defeat each of these types of fatigue. This is the most obvious one. You exercise, you work out, you work hard, you move, and your body gets tired. But the problem is that a lot of people think you get some sleep and you're fine. But in fact, if you are constantly undersleeping, overloading in the gym, eating as you please, and living under stress, the body simply does not have time to repair itself. Your hormones go haywire, your immunity goes down, your muscles ache even without training, and then you wake up tired even though you slept enough. But there's a second level, mental. This one's a little more difficult. You can lie on the couch all day long, but if your brain is constantly at work, there is no use of such rest. Constant notifications in your phone, anxious thoughts about work, the feeling that you need to be always on the phone, all this exhausts you as much as a hard workout, and it turns out that even on weekends you can't really relax. Your head feels heavy, it's hard to concentrate, the little things irritate you. Does that sound familiar? And there is a third, the most imperceptible level, spiritual, if I may say so. This is when you seem to be healthy and have a normal job, but inside there is some emptiness. As if you live on autopilot, homework home, and no joy. There is nothing that would really ignite, no feeling that you go where you want to go, and then even a holiday is no fun. You just change one routine for another. Here's the trick. All three of these levels are connected. You can have perfect sleep, but if your brain is constantly on edge, it's no use. You can have all the material possessions, but if you're empty inside, you're still going to feel drained. Therefore, when you say, I am tired, you should first understand where exactly is this fatigue accumulated? In the body, in the head, or maybe somewhere deeper at the level of some internal reference points and meanings. When you understand where exactly the energy leakage is coming from, then you can choose the right ways of recovery. And now I will tell you how you should and how you can properly recover in 3 cases. First, let's look at physical recovery in detail because it is the basis of everything. When the body is truly rested, you feel it immediately. Ease of movement, vigor in the morning, strength for training, and in general for everything you have in mind. But few people realize how important this is and how much it affects quality of life. Imagine your body as a car. You can drive it non-stop, don't change the oil, don't let the engine cool down, and it will keep going for a while. But at one point it will overheat, break down, and eventually it just stops. It's the same thing with the body. If you don't let it recover properly, sooner or later it will fail. Injuries, chronic fatigue, disease. There are lots of ways to recover, but not all work equally well for everyone. Let's break down the most effective ones. 1. Hot bath or bath sauna. It's not just pleasant, it really works. Heat dilates blood vessels, improves blood flow, which means nutrients get to your muscles faster and they recover faster. Plus, it relieves tension in the nervous system. After a hard day or workout, a hot bath literally reboots the body. But it's important not to overdo it. 15 to 20 minutes in warm water is enough. If you overheat, it will only get worse. You can add salt, e.g. magnesium salt. It helps the muscles relax through the skin, or essential oils like lavender if you want a calming effect. Second, massage. You don't have to go to an expensive specialist. Even self-massage or a simple roller, foam roller, has a great effect. The point is that when you exercise, microspasms and clamps form in the muscles, which prevent normal blood flow. Massage breaks them down and your muscles start to get more oxygen and nutrients. Even 10 minutes of self-massage before bed can make a big difference in the quality of your recovery. 3. Stretching. Many people underestimate it, and for nothing. After a workout, muscles contract, and if you don't stretch them, over time they become wooden, joint mobility deteriorates, and the risk of injury increases. Stretching returns muscles to their normal length, improves elasticity, and reduces soreness the next day. It is best to do it not immediately after training, when the muscles are still toned, but a couple of hours later or before going to bed. Slow, smooth movements without pain, just a slight stretch. It is especially useful to stretch the back, hips, and shoulders. These areas are most often clogged in those who work out or sit a lot. 5. Active recovery, light movements. Sometimes the best way to recover is not to lie there, but to move around a bit. A light walk, swimming, yoga, cycling without exertion. All these things improve blood flow but do not load the muscles, especially useful after heavy strength training or long periods of sitting. The main rule is nothing intense. If after a light jog you can barely drag your feet, it's not recovery, but an additional load. 6. Breathing practices. Yes, this also affects physical recovery, because through breathing you can release muscle clamps and calm the nervous system. Deep breaths from the abdomen, not the chest, activate the parasympathetic system, the one responsible for rest and digestion. Even 5 minutes of calm breathing before bed or after a workout can make a big difference in the quality of your recovery. What's next? Mental recovery, or how to fix your head so that you don't go crazy. You've probably noticed that there are days when you don't feel tired physically, but your head feels like cast iron, you don't want to do anything, and every little thing is annoying. This is mental fatigue. It builds up unnoticed, but it hits your productivity and mood even harder than physical fatigue. The good news is that it can be relieved, and it doesn't take anything complicated. 1. Talking to a friend, or just someone who can listen. One of the most underrated ways to unload your head is to simply talk it out. When you speak your thoughts out loud, they stop rolling around in your head in an endless stream. A friend doesn't have to give advice. Sometimes you just need someone to listen without judgment or moralizing. Why does this work? Because when we keep everything to ourselves, the brain spends a lot of energy to chew the same thoughts, and when you speak them, it's like they come out and your head feels lighter. An important point: the conversation should be exactly unloading, not additional stress. It is not necessary to philosophize about life and search for its meaning. This can be done another time. 2. Self-reflection, but no self-digging. Sometimes you don't need to talk to someone, but rather to sort yourself out. But there is a fine line here. Self-reflection is when you analyze your states without judgment, and self-digging is when you start blaming yourself for every little thing. How to do it right? You can make a habit of writing down your thoughts in a diary. Yes, it sounds girly, but it works. You don't have to write novels. 5 to 10 minutes is enough. It helps to structure the chaos in your head and understand what makes you tired and what, on the contrary, gives you strength. 3. Digital detox, at least for an hour a day. We are constantly connected. Social networks, messengers, mail, news. The brain does not rest at all. Even if you're just scrolling through your feed, it's still processing a lot of information, and it's imperceptibly draining. Try to set aside at least an hour a day where you completely disconnect from gadgets. Not just, I'm not going to write, but to put your phone away, close your laptop, and be in silence. You can go for a walk, read a paper book, just sit with your eyes closed. The main thing is to give your brain a break from the endless stream of data. At first, it will be unusual, perhaps even a slight panic. What if I miss something? But then you will notice that your head is clearer. 4th, change of activity, when work and rest are the same thing. If you sit at the computer all day and in the evening you relax at TV series or scrolling social networks, it's not a rest. The brain is still working in the same mode, it's just the content that changes. True mental recovery is switching to a different type of activity. For example, if you work with your head, you can do something with your hands: painting, cooking, building models. If you socialize with people all day, try being alone. If you work with numbers and logic, switch on and listen to music. The point is to give rest to those parts of the brain that are tired. 5. Conscious idleness. Yes, it's a skill. A lot of people don't know how to just do nothing. Every spare minute is filled with phones, music, and background thoughts about work. But the brain sometimes needs a complete lack of stimulation. Try at least 10 minutes a day of sitting or lying down in silence, not thinking about anything in particular. Not meditating, that's work too, but just letting your thoughts flow freely like clouds. It will be difficult at first, but over time it will become the best way to reboot quickly. 6. Nature, even if it's just a park in the city, the psyche is very much affected by the environment. Concrete walls, noise of cars, artificial light, all this imperceptibly strains the nervous system, and nature, greenery, water, open space, acts on the contrary, soothes. It is not necessary to go to the forest. Even a 20-minute walk in the park without headphones and phone can greatly relieve your head. Finally, spiritual restoration. How to give meaning to life when there is emptiness inside. There are times when your health seems to be fine and everything is stable at work, but inside you feel a kind of sadness. It is as if you live on autopilot. You do what you need to do, but nothing pleases you. This is the soul screaming. It, like the body and mind, needs restoration. Not in the religious sense, although for some it is important, but in terms of inner fulfillment. 1. You can engage in reading literature that makes you think it is not necessary to take sacred texts, although if it is your thing, why not? It's about books that stir up something deeper than everyday thoughts. This could be philosophy, e.g., Marcus Aurelius, Nietzsche, Camus, whoever is closer. Poetry, Rilke, Brodsky, Tsvetaeva. Even good fiction, I don't know the authors because I don't read much of it. The point is not to read and forget, but to stop and feel the response. If some phrase hooks you, write it out, think about it, live it. It's like talking to a wise person through time. 2. Prayer or spirituality techniques. It doesn't matter if you believe in God or not. Prayer is a way to release what's built up inside and feel connected to something bigger than yourself. If religion isn't your thing, give it a try. Gratitude. Just mentally or out loud list what you're grateful for in life right now. Talking to a higher version of yourself. Imagine you're speaking to someone wiser and calmer than you and ask, what do I need right now? The key is sincerity, not formality. 3. Meditation. Meditation is not necessarily sitting in lotus position and clearing your mind. It is a practice of presence. You can start simple. You can try 5 minutes of silence, watching your breath, or focusing on a candle flame or the sound of water, or maybe on a body scan. Mentally walk through each part of your body, letting go of tension. Important, don't blame yourself if your thoughts scatter. They will run away. The challenge is not to stop them, but not to cling to them. My advice that I personally wish I had given myself when I was young: 1. Accept the fact that you are not a robot. You can't plow on endlessly without consequences. If you feel like you're already at zero, it's better to honestly admit, I'm tired, rather than trying to squeeze the last juices out of yourself. Working through force is marriage, stress, and mistakes. 2. Do the minimum, but do it well. If it's absolutely impossible, but the deadline is burning, do only the most important things. Cut off everything unnecessary. Answer critical emails. Do one key task and put the rest aside. It's better to do little but good than a bunch of crutches. 3 micro breaks. Even if you're swamped, take a break from the screen every 30 to 40 minutes. Stretch, walk, drink water. It's not laziness, it's a way to not burn out completely. 4. Throw coffee and energy drinks in the trash. They mask fatigue but do not restore the resource. If you're already on the verge, it's better to get 20 minutes of sleep or just lie in silence than to pour liters of stimulants into yourself. Don't forget to also make days for proper rest. To do this, plan ahead of time. Don't wait until you collapse from overwork. Every 1 to 2 months, set aside at least 1 full day for doing nothing. Ideally, 2 to 3 days in a row if you can. Remember that the weekend is not always a holiday. If you're lying on the couch on Saturday and running errands on Sunday, it's not a holiday. True recovery requires time without commitment. At least 1 day a week should be without plans. Just listen to yourself. If you're still feeling wrecked after the weekend, it means you had a poor quality holiday. Try a change of scenery. Go to the countryside, switch off social networks, be alone. Use these tips wisely to succeed. I'll be very happy if you succeed, but I will also be glad to have you subscribe to the channel and comment on these and other videos. Even when you have difficulties, don't forget to recover. It's better to be a little late than to make in time valuable health. Your health should always be in the first place, because if there is no health, there is nothing. Nothing with health is everything, and everything without health is nothing.